In Acts 10, it records the story. Reed has already told you about it a little bit, of Peter being here, receiving the vision. There were some men that were sent to him to retrieve him to come up to Caesarea, where we will go tomorrow. And it was an interesting ordeal, and I want you to get the gravity of it, because at Cornelius's house up in Caesarea, that was the Roman capital of the area at the time. And to send for a Jewish prophet, I mean, there's some really interesting dynamics going on here. And so Cornelius sent the guys down here hearing about Peter, and it picks up in the story in verse 9, Acts 10. Next day, as they went on their journey, that's talking about the men that were sent here to talk to Peter, they drew near the city, and Peter went up on the housetop to pray about the 6th hour. He became hungry and wanted to eat, but while they made ready, he fell into a trance, saw heaven opened, and an object like a great sheet bound at the four corners, descending at him and let down to the earth. Now this story continues that Peter was showed by the Lord all kinds of things that were forbidden in the Jewish diet. And the point of the story is not that God was forbidding Peter to eat. The point of the story is that some Gentiles had sent for him, and what a lot of people don't understand is that it was not kosher for a Jewish person to go to a Gentile's house. Period. And so here's these Gentiles and somebody in the Roman army, and they are sending down here to get a Jewish prophet to come to the house up here. And so Peter's up on the roof, and they ask him, and while Peter, verse 17, wondered within himself about the vision, about these things coming down, they called and asked whether Simon, his surname was Peter, was lodging there. And while Peter thought about the vision, the Spirit to him, behold, 3 men were seeking you, and arise therefore and go down with them, doubting nothing, for I have sent them. The Lord is saying this to Peter. And so while then Peter went down to them, and Cornelius had said, yes, I am he whom you seek. For what reason have you come? And they said, Cornelius, the centurion, a just man, one who fears God, and his good reputation among all the nations of the Jews, was distinctively instructed by a holy angel to summon you to come to his house. I want that to sink in. Here's a Gentile, here's a Jewish prophet. Jewish people are supposed to stay out of the Gentiles' homes, and here is this dynamic. And Peter agrees to go. So on the next day, Peter went away with them, and some brethren from Joppa accompanied him. Now tomorrow we will pick this story up when we're up in Caesarea where they went. And there is some of the most interesting dynamics that happened in the early church, or early part of the experience that the church would be built on, happened in Caesarea. As we go up there tomorrow, we'll pick the story up. What you need to know tonight is that Peter was willing to go. And we need to learn from Peter. When the Lord speaks, we need to be willing to go. Whether it be to somebody's house we don't like. There's some folks I know that you just don't like. But if God spoke to you and said that person needs to be saved, we need to be available to go. And so that's what Peter did here. And tomorrow we'll pick the story up as we go up there. Behind me is the Church of St. Peter, and very much like we do in the United States. George Washington slept here. They do that here. So Peter's church, and it's not really that Peter founded this church, but they built it in his honor. So you get the point. And so we can go in if you'd like, and tomorrow when we pick the story up, we'll continue in Acts 10.